right, so this is just a serious admonition to the staff of the Clare Health Centre. Right. And again, I want you to make sure that there's no abuse here. I'm not yelling and screaming. There's no yelling and screaming. This is even though you don't like to hear it or something like that, the fact is that this place here is it's so evil that they are, complicit in ending these wonderful young boys or young girls' lives. All right, the babies are dying. Right. You can say what you want about maid and all that stuff. It's not really the topic of today's conversation. Gender affirming care, again, a little bit of a dodgy subject. It's it is something that is service, if you will, that you offer. But again, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the deliberate destruction of human life prior to the development, a stage in development, which is just another stage of development, which is birth, right? So it doesn't matter what the law says. You are culpable by association, guilty by association of deliberately ending an innocent life, right? A small boy or small girl, and we will not call it. We will not call this blastocyst an it. We will not call this fetus an it, and we will honor it for its humanity, for what he or she is. A small boy or a small girl. So this is a solemn and urgent admonition to regarding the role that this institution plays in facilitating the termination of unborn human life. Each one of you, by virtue of your profession, has sworn an oath, whether explicitly or implicitly, to heal, to care for the vulnerable, and to uphold the dignity of human life. Yet within these walls, a practice is being carried out that directly contradicts the very essence of medicine. The deliberate ending of an innocent life. Of course, I mean the IUD. There's a conception there. There's a conception. The baby boy or the baby girl is conceived, right? And at the further stage of development, due to these IUDs and other hormonal birth control, the baby will be killed. All right. So medical science is clear. Life begins at fertilization. From that moment, a distinct and genetically unique human being exists. To argue otherwise is to deny biological reality and abandon the ethical foundations of medicine. The procedures and medications administered to end these lives, are not acts of healing, but of destruction. Those who participate, whether by a direct action or silent complicity, must confront the weight of this moral and ethical breach. Right? No law, no policy, no societal acceptance can ever make right what is intrinsically wrong. History has shown that many injustices were once legally protected, yet justice eventually prevailed. The same will apply here. The time will come when this practice is universally recognized for the atrocity that it is. At that moment, history will judge those who stood idly by, just as it has judged those who enabled past crimes against humanity. This is not an attack on any individual. Right. There's no abuse here. I know there's a document that 5 to 10% of interactions are abusive. I'm not being abusive. Who am I attacking? What am I yelling and screaming? There's none of that. Right. This is not an attack on any individual. It's a plea for a conscious, but for moral courage and for a return to the true calling of medicine. Yeah. Each person working within this institution has a choice to participate in something profoundly wrong or to stand against it. There is still time to choose rightly, but to refuse to be complicit and to align to refuse to be complicit, and to align with the fundamental duty to protect life. So you can refuse to be complicit in this terrible crime, the crime of murder against the unborn children. There's still time to choose rightly and to stand against it. Well, if I'm going to stand against it and talk about it, Dr. Michelle Dow will fire me, will have me fired. Yeah, she will. She certainly will, because she is the number one person to blame here. She is a murderess, and these types of people will do everything that you can to continue this murder from happening, right? It's every single child that has been killed is a new and distinct, right? It's a distinct crime, and she will do everything in her power to continue this from happening, right? So reflect deeply on this. A day will come when each person must account for their actions. And on that day, no justification of just doing my job or just following orders will suffice. The weight of this responsibility rests on your shoulders. The right choice is clear. All right, so, but that's my job. I won't have a job. So what? I got bills to pay. I need to, feed my family. Do you need to feed your family by having this small boy or this small girl lose his or her life and you're complicit in it? Well, you can choose, right? You can choose. You certainly could choose, and you can certainly take this admonition. Sorry, you can take this admonition seriously, and you can reflect on what was being said here in this video. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next video.